So today we're going to be going over 10 fragrances that will never fail to turn heads. If you're in this hobby for compliments and making people wonder what you're wearing and give you some positive feedback on it, this video is going to be the one you're going to want to stay tuned for. And you know, it's weird. You're going to find that these 10 fragrances here, and by the way, there are many others out there on the market that will do a similar thing, but you know, I can only narrow it down to so many for a video, but these 10, these really work well for just having people kind of look and, you know, kind of take a second glance and be like, wait, what was that? What was that I was smelling? I'm curious and I'm intrigued about it. There's just something captivating about these 10 scents that always seems to work no matter what. So if you want to grab some scents that you can wear on a daily basis to make sure you're turning heads and getting the feedback that you want, make sure you stay tuned. And I will also provide links to all of the fragrances in this video down below to Discounter so you can check them out yourself. Let's go ahead and get started with this one. First up, we have Michael Kors Extreme Sky. So for me, this is all about the cypress, the ozonic notes, and a nice, fresh, bright bergamot that you get out of this one right up top. So this one is airy, it's light, it's fresh, but at the same time it has a bit of a spicy, inviting type of feel about it. This one comes in at around the $50 price point on Discounters, making it pretty affordable. It's not cheap, but at the same time it's not expensive. And I find this to be a really nice price point because you get something that is obtainable for a lot of people out there, but you're also not getting something that is super cheap and low quality and low performing. It kind of rides a nice line here with this particular price point. And that's kind of the price point that most Michael Kors fragrances fall in. For me personally, I really like Extreme Sky, and I think it's worth the pickup 100% if you want a nice head turner for summertime. Up next, we have L'Homme by Lacoste. So this one opens up with a nice, spicy, and also fresh ginger note. Along with that, you also get a nice rhubarb and a nice creamy orange. So it's fresh, it's inviting, it's citric in a way, it's a bit fruity as well, but primarily, you know, it's kind of smooth and clean and musky. It's very much a men's smelling scent, so this isn't one of those super sweet bubblegummy or super sweet feminine leaning types of scents. This one very much establishes itself as a men's cologne. Even though there is a bit of a creaminess from the orange, it does maintain a masculine muskiness and slight woodiness and a very nice eye-catching, eye-opening, head-turning spiciness in the opening. Comes in at around, I want to say $40 on Discounters, making it pretty affordable. And honestly, for what you're paying for this one, you're getting a really good quality, really good performing, and also a very unique scent. Moving along, we have Explorer by Montblanc. Ambroxan, bergamot, and vetiver, along with some other woods, are going to be the prominent notes here in this one. So the vetiver is giving off a smokiness, kind of like what you would get from Aventus, which is a kind of a birch smoky woodiness. The bergamot is what's giving off the sort of pineapple smell. So that's essentially what a lot of fragrance perfumers and just fragrances in general use for pineapple. It's just a high quality bergamot. That's what you're getting out of this one. And of course, a ton of ambroxan, or in Creed Aventus, ambergris. Who knows what they're using is real or not, but it's essentially an ambroxan heavy scent. Aventus itself, ambergris, ambroxan, whatever. A lot of aroma chemicals in Aventus, and that's part of the reasons why if you've worn it and smelled it, you may go nose blind to it. I personally do quite often. It's just because it's so aroma chemical heavy. And similar thing here with Explorer. But if you do want an affordable Aventus alternative without going to a niche clone house or something like that, go for Explorer. It's from a reputable designer brand like Montblanc, who creates a lot of great fragrances, and it's also affordable, anywhere from $40 to $50 depending on the bottle size and if you're getting a tester or a full presentation. This stuff here, very obtainable, and it is a great compliment getter, and also, of course, a great head turner. If you're the quiet guy and you don't want to get attention from fragrances, you're going to want to avoid this at all costs, because this one will have people asking you what you're wearing and telling you you smell fantastic. Works every time. Up next, we have Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Toilette, the 2017 version. So this one has pear and pineapple in the opening, along with a nice creamy iris. So I find this to be so pleasant. I mean, The aroma that this one gives off is so warming, and it's not a sweet fragrance really. It is primarily fruity to me from all of that pear you get in the opening and that sweet pineapple, bergamot type of thing going on. But there is that iris as well, but it's not sweet. What I mean by warming is that, I don't know, when I smell this, it just makes me feel great. And it could just be a personal thing because I really like the scent, or it could just be something about this DNA that just smells so uplifting, so fresh. It's fruity, so immediately it's going to have a bit of sweetness, but not sweetness in the way that you may think from like a vanilla, tonka bean type of scent. It's just warming and sweet and fruity, that sort of thing, with a nice semi-powdery floral iris note in here as well. This is much more fresh than something like Gentleman Eau de Parfum, or even something like Prada L'Homme Valentino Uomo Intense. I'm just listing off some of the main iris fragrances out there that you've heard of. This is going to be fresher and fruitier than all of those, and subsequently a bit more mass appealing and a bit more head turning because it is more likable. Don't get me wrong, Gentleman Eau de Parfum, Valentino Uomo Intense, they're great compliment getters, but there's something kind of bright and vibrant about Gentleman Eau de Toilette that just works really well, and I find it to be unparalleled to a lot of other designer iris fragrances out there, even to some extent Prada L'Homme, just in terms of how uplifting and head-turning this one is. Great pickup for around the $50 range as well. Up next, we're going to go with one of those basic boys. This one is Versace Dylan Blue. Ambroxan, patchouli, and of course bergamot are going to be some of the main notes from this one. A blue fragrance. It had to be in here, at least one of them, and I could have picked Sauvage or Atlantique or any of the other blue fragrances out there. There are a ton of them at this point, but I just kind of felt like Dylan Blue today, and really they're all interchangeable. They're all great. It's kind of one of those pick your favorite types of things. And while I do really like this one, it's hard for me to pick a favorite blue fragrance because they all kind of run together and ultimately they all work very well. And that's really what I use these for. It's a tool. It's a utility object. I wear a blue fragrance like Dylan Blue, Sauvage, Atlantique when I just want something to get the job done with no effort, no thought process whatsoever. If I'm in a super hurry and I got to get out the door, we're going somewhere, and I just really didn't have time to think or plan out what fragrance I was going to wear, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a blue fragrance of some sort, whichever one I can get to quickest, and maybe if I have a little thought in my mind of which one I'm craving, that's what I'm going to go for basically all the time. These just work, and having a bottle of Dylan Blue, Sauvage, Atlantique on hand is a great idea. I actually have a Dylan Blue bottle in my vehicle at all times. It stays in my center console. Of course, ideally, you don't want to do that because the temperature fluctuations aren't good on a scent. You go from having 0-degree temperatures in the wintertime all the way up to it getting well over 100 degrees in the vehicle in summertime. It's not great for the scent. I'm aware of that. I bought a super cheap tester off of eBay. I know it's going to go bad in, years' time. It's just one of those things, but I've used it multiple times to apply if I've been out and about and I forgot to apply a fragrance. I mean, that's the type of utility that Dylan Blue and other blue fragrances offer. And of course, this should go without saying, but these are compliment monsters. They just work. Dylan Blue, about $40 to $50 on discounters, making it a great pickup if all you care about is turning heads and smelling great. Let's go ahead and move on to a fragrance from Yves Saint Laurent. This one is Y Live. Juniper, ginger, and bergamot, and unlisted, but to my nose is very prominent, amberwood or ambroxan. Surprisingly, that's not listed, at least not on Fragrantica. But to me, yeah, there's a whole lot of amberwood here in this scent, which is synonymous with Y Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum. And I think even Y Parfum, I don't think it's listed for that one either, but I get amberwood in Y Parfum as well. Even though they may not want to tell us, it's in there. And it's the same thing here with this one. However, the difference is I get more of a spicy ginger and also just a bit more of a juniper forefront out of Y Live, separating this one from the Eau de Toilette and also the Eau de Parfum. But don't get me wrong, this one still does have that bubblegum sweetness, blue fragrance type of thing going on like the rest of the line. However, because it has that type of vibe going on, it makes it a great head turner and a great compliment getter. It is really hard to find someone who doesn't like the smell of these Y fragrances. They just work. It is a bit more expensive on discounters being an Yves Saint Laurent fragrance, but it is worth the pickup if you're into this sort of DNA and if you want something that is basically foolproof at this point. Moving along, we have Dolce & Gabbana The One Grey. Cardamom, lavender, grapefruit, and vetiver are some of the main notes. So I find this to be more of a office-friendly, soapy, clean vetiver alternative to Dolce & Gabbana The One. You still get that spiciness up top, like in The One itself, the original EDT and EDP, but you just dry down to more of a clean, soapy vetiver and lavender. That's really the main idea behind this one. Now, the grapefruit is still prominent in this, just like in the original as well. You can wear the original to the office, and again, I'm talking EDP and EDT. Those can be office friendly for sure. They're signature scent worthy scents. I find them to be best for an evening or a date night, but they'll work for anything. But if you really want to complete your Dolce & Gabbana The One collection, and you decide to go ahead and pick up The One Grey, I would say, and this is just me, but you may find yourself wearing The One Grey to work more so than the original. You'll find that there is just something a bit more easy and foolproof and, just a zero thought process type of thing about The One Grey, whereas the One EDT, EDP, it's got the tobacco, it's got a bit more of the spiciness, a bit more of the sweetness. For some, it may be a bit too much. That's where The One Grey comes in. And you'll also find that, at least for me personally, again, this is just me speaking for myself, that you'll like wearing the One EDT, EDP better for evenings out and date fragrances, kind of saving it for those situations and wearing other stuff like gray to work, just doing your everyday thing. That's how I like to do it, and if you try this one, you may be in the same ballpark as well. This is one of the cheaper Dolce & Gabbana The One flankers coming in. I want to say, again, $45, $50. That's kind of the going rate here for the fragrances in this video. It's just kind of how it worked out. Maybe a bit less than $45, depending on tester, full presentation, bottle size, that sort of thing. But they're very obtainable, very easy to grab on discounters, and it is worth it to have around. Let's go ahead and move to a Ferragamo fragrance. This is one that I didn't think I was going to like that much, but as I wore it, I ended up actually really liking it. This one is Ferragamo Urban Feel. Ambroxan, bergamot, and ozonic notes are going to be some of the key players in this scent. And again, this is no surprise. You're seeing ambroxan, amberwood, ambergris all over this video. But, when you ask for, I'm sure all of you asked for this video, when you ask for a head-turning fragrance type of video, this is the stuff that works wonders right now. That's kind of the trend. And again, when it comes to mass-pleasing, compliment-getting fragrances, it's all about the trends. And that's what we're in right now. Although maybe slightly moving out of and into, stuff like cashmerean and modern woods. We're moving that way, so that could be the next upcoming trend. Just take a look at Dior Homme 2020. And Dior, no surprise, is kind of a trendsetter along with Chanel. Chanel's been kind of quiet with the men's fragrances, but Dior is on it, creating something that is new, with Dior Homme 2020, very cashmere and isoe super heavy, modern woods. That's probably going to be one of the next main trends here, but still ambroxan does work very well. Great compliment getter, that sort of thing. This type of stuff is just so good. It just works so well. And when you're talking about a video like this, and you're talking about essentially utility fragrances like I've talked about, head turners, compliment getters, and that's all you care about, stuff like Ferragamo Urban Feel, they just get the job done, and it's hard for me to not include them. All right, for these last two, we have no more ambroxan. We're done with that. I apologize. I know it gets boring or whatever, but we do have something sweet. And both of these are on the sweeter side, this one being sweeter than the next one. This one is Armani Code Profumo. So yeah, we're really kind of jumping ship here. Tonka bean, amber, and cardamom are some of the main notes. So a very sweet, kind of fizzy root beer cola type of smell from this one as well. You'll hear it get compared to root beer. And it does have that fizziness in the opening. Sweet, sexy, seductive, and alluring. That's what Code Profumo is all about. This is one of those clubbing bangers. This came out in 2016, so really 5 years ago, not too long ago. It seems like it's honestly been out longer because it has just made its rounds in the community. So many people love it, so many people talk about it. This one really got around for good reason. When it comes to positive feedback and getting compliments, this type of thing here is a weapon. It does it almost too good. Armani Co Profumo on a bit more of expensive side, but if you can swing the, I don't know, $90, $100 for this one, trust me when I say it's worth it. And last up for this one, we have L'Homme Ideal Extreme by Guerlain. Plum, tobacco, and almond are some of the main notes here in this one. So this is a 2020 release, and I've said it before and I'll say it here again. One of my favorite Guerlain Ideal L'Homme flankers. Kind of mix that up, but you get what I'm saying here. Guerlain L'Homme Ideal. The line is great itself. The EDT, the EDP, Cologne, discontinued, but still great. They're all really, really fantastic. Great almond fragrances. But this one here has to take the cake. There's something about that plum, tobacco, almond combination that just is addicting. It's inviting. It's slightly gourmand in a way. It is so sweet and so sexy. And when it comes to just turning heads and getting positive feedback, something unique and different, but at the same time still mass appealing like this one, works all the time. It's a good performer as well, and when it is in stock, it's pretty affordable. Definitely worth a check out here. If you can get this one online, it's worth it. So guys, that's gonna do it for me. That was 10 fragrances that never fail to turn heads. Let me know down below, what are some fragrances that you would put in this list? What are some scents that always seem to work for you? And remember, if you want to grab any of the fragrances in this video, they will be linked down below to discounters, making it super easy for you to grab them. Just click the links, it'll take you right there. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.